Welcome to the Experience Gap, the Insight Shop to the rescue, where we turn customer nightmares into teachable moments for businesses. Each week, we bring you real stories of service breakdowns, highlight the moments that matter, and equip businesses with strategies to delight their customers. I'm Kate Complin, the owner of the Insight Shop. I created this podcast to give customers a voice, to share their stories and frustrations, in hopes that companies would take notice, listen, and take action, as customers are your most important aspects. Today, I'm joined by Jill Lipski Cain, a consultant of over 15 years who is on a mission to build empathy among businesses so they can better serve people and their community. Jill, it's great to have you on my podcast.
Great. Thanks so much for having me, Kate. I appreciate it.
You bet. Jill, as a consumer, what does a truly great experience look like to you?
There's that moment, that feeling that you have when you're like, oh my gosh, yes, you can do that for me. That'd be so cool. It's like this unexpected delight, but then you realize that seems like a high bar to be reached. But when you think about your experiences across all kinds of processes and systems, you realize, wow, we can do so much better. But regardless, in the moment, it's like you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel like they saw you in like everything that was happening and were like, I got you. I can take care of you. So in my mind, I'm thinking about hospitality places. That's kind of the naturally kind of comes up for me. But it's also in the moments of like, I'm doing paperwork for my kid who's, I'm signing up for camps, and it's like frustrating. It's not fun work, and et cetera. But then someone's like, oh, don't worry, I can fill out this form for you with some other info that I had. So it's like simple things like that. I don't take those moments for granted. So those are my initial reactions to such a great question.
I know on the flip side, you were recently, or maybe not so recent, at an amusement park, and you didn't have such a great experience.
Story that I wanted to share with you and your audience about something that went really well was actually because of something that was a really uncomfortable experience, which is kind of why my brain didn't think about like my actual story when I think about good experiences, because the thing that required the business to respond was terrible. So I go to a gym. I go there 3-4 times a week. I've been there for a long time. And I was at class one morning, and I don't usually go to that time. So it was a kind of a new crowd. And I was standing by the locker and had just finished class, and another member who I just didn't really get good vibes with, like I was like, something was really unsettling, and I don't normally feel that way at the gym. We had just finished like a big challenge, and he was like, oh, congratulations. And he touched me in a way that was really inappropriate and said something that was really inappropriate. And got that flush of like fear and just anger, and then like really just like left crying and had a shitty day. So that was terrible. It like wrecked my whole experience at the gym. And I was like, I'm going to mention something. So I had mentioned something on the way out to the manager or someone, whoever was on staff. And then I emailed the manager. Unfortunately, I had talked with this manager before, and even if I hadn't, I probably still would have sent the email. But because there was a relationship there, I knew I could tell her this. And so what she did, so here's the good experience, is how she and her team handled it. Her email back to me was super timely. She offered me 2 options for how we could connect. I chose to talk over the phone. I didn't want to talk about it in the gym. So on the call, she listened to me without any judgment, without rushing me, without any defensiveness. I think a lot of times businesses or people representing them can kind of react to like, oh, okay, I got to fix this. Let me fix it. But she just took the time to listen. She was really clear in her response that she believed me, that what the other member did was totally unacceptable. And she reiterated that the gym was my place to feel safe. And so then she gathered some info from me that I was comfortable sharing as to which member who had done it. And then she laid out a plan for how she was going to address his behavior and strongly convey the gym's policy about member behavior expectations. And I was comfortable with and wanted her to go forward with that plan. I know that if I had expressed any fear or hesitation about it, I'm sure she would have been empathetic and understanding. Anyhow, I think that she also told me what his usual schedule was so that I could choose to work around it. And ever since, she took care of me on this call, and I presume that she talked to the member about his behavior. I have been able to reclaim my safety and peace at the gym, and it's certainly helped me by not having encountered this other member since. But regardless, it allowed me to do my own healing and whatnot, and get back to the space. So that terrible experience, but a very good experience of how a business needs to handle these kinds of reports. I have a background in violence prevention and education and prevention work. I know what I'm talking about, right? And can consult people on this, or businesses on this. But here's the thing is that all of that being said, all the knowledge and things like that, what I experienced was not unlike what many, many, many other people to experience. And even with all my knowledge, I had all the emotions and fearfulness. Fortunately, I knew what I was entitled to as a member, and I'm glad I followed through with my empowerment.
So what would you say, Jill, was the moment that really mattered to you on how the gym made it right for you?
I think what I said in the beginning. They saw me and they knew what to do. I could tell that the business was prepared for this, that this team was prepared for this. I don't know to what extent, because it's part of a franchise, I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that they sure as hell knew what had happened. They could tell, and they had a plan, and they knew how to take care of me in the moment. They didn't excuse this person's behavior. They didn't rationalize it. They just focused on taking care of me and showing up for me and reiterating their plan.
Yeah. Obviously, a gym member getting in your space, touching you inappropriately, saying inappropriate things was the biggest pain point. What else might you say was a pain point in that experience or in the resolution of the experience, if anything?
If I put my CX hat on and take myself out of this, like from the personal experience, some questions I would think about if I were a consultant to this business and I had heard about this, I would want to build up from the strengths of it and then go, okay, what we have been missing from this whole journey that we want to build in. It's never too late to follow up with a member and see how they're doing after some time has passed, which I think that's what they did. I can't remember everything, but what else is this experience telling us about to what extent are our policies clear and strong enough? To what extent are our managers and desk staff trained in handling this? What is the order of operations here? What additional training is needed to reinforce our plan, our policy? And in terms of prevention, like, yes, they're like talking about member behavior, and being on the lookout for what might be risks towards such behavior. It's a kind of an intimate space. You get to know people really well. So how might they use that proximity to their other members to notice things, even if it's like, hey, I wanted to check in with you. I saw someone talking with you and you didn't look terribly comfortable. Could a business be able to have that kind of conversation? Could folks who work at a business be able to have that conversation and be really well trained and prepared to handle that? Or if they were to notice a member doing something inappropriate, how would they be able to handle it in a way that follows best practices? So in my CX consulting hat, those are the things I would look at, is taking stock of what happened, what was done, celebrating what was done right, and building up from there.
Thank you for sharing what else the gym could have done to further educate and help future members from feeling safe. So I'll leave you with this. Only 1% to 5% of customers will complain to your company, which can lead to huge financial loss in revenue. So think about, Jill, with your experience, had you not known the manager, had you not felt comfortable with the manager, you may not have complained. And if you are only one of 5% that did complain, think about the number of members the gym may be losing due
Yeah,
to these types of experiences.
for sure.
Yeah, John A. Goodman, the author of Customer Experience 3.0, says that complaints that companies don't hear about result in a decrease in customer loyalty of around 20%, which means companies are losing one of every 5 customers. And then, as we know from the last episode, acquiring new customers can be 5 to 25 times more expensive than retaining an existing customer. And the probability of selling to an existing customer, selling additional services, selling additional years, is 60 to 70% higher than a new prospect at only 5 to 20%. And so, talk about a financial loss by not making it easy for your customers to tell you about a bad experience so that you can take care of their customer and keep them coming back for more. In this case, a comfortable experience at the gym. So thank you, Jill, for sharing your story about your gym experience. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in to the Experience Gap, the Insight Shop to the rescue, helping businesses turn frustration into delight, one experience at a time.